SBA loans. They can be a nightmare, or they could really help your business. So let's find out how it can help your business. So I am Tyler Asher from the Small Business Development Center, and today we're going to give you the 411 on SBA loans. You may have become familiar with hearing of the SBA during all of the COVID. They were tasked with putting out all the PPP, the Economic Injury Disaster Loans, the Restaurant Recovery Program, the Shuttered Venue. They've come up with all these things for funding for businesses during COVID. But what you probably didn't realize is the SBA has been around for a long time. And sometimes when you mention the word SBA to certain bankers, they get like the heebie-jeebies. Like they kind of like break out in hives because they are a little bit daunting. They take normally 60, 90, 120 days. You're dealing with the federal government. They have certain processes that have to be gone through. I won't lie, it is kind of daunting. But guess what? That's where we're here to help you. Our job is to get it packaged correctly and find the right lending partner. So let's talk about some deep dives into the 7A loan. The 7A SBA loan is the most common SBA loan that they do. SBA, their job is to not lend directly to you. The whole point of having an SBA loan is a guarantee on the business loan to the bank. So that way, if something happens and the business goes bad, then the federal government would then write a check to the bank to cover the portion of the loan. This 7A loan is the most popular. Why? I really can't tell you. Probably because it's the most versatile loan that there is. 7A allows a lot of flexibility. It gives you what's called working capital. Most people in business, that's what they want to go for. Working capital, which allows them to have money to spread out, do things of paying payroll, paying for inventory, paying for your fixed costs. That's where 7A comes into play. 7A can start at $5,000 all the way up to $5.5 million. So there's a lot of room in the SBA 7A loan program. Some people often wonder why you should consider an SBA loan. You should probably consider it because it's probably the best business loan for a business. With small business friendly terms, it's really perfect. A blended interest rate is going to be somewhere in the mid 3s to the upper 5s. And for a small business, that can be a huge game changer when you're talking hundreds of thousands or even a couple $1 million. With the SBA 7A loan programs, the most popular loan, as I've already discussed, these can help you in new construction, expansions, renovation. They can help you purchase land. They can help you buy equipment, fixtures, furniture, working capital. And you can also do some refinancing of debt with a 7A loan. Maximum loan is $5 million, of course, 10-year payment or longer, depending on if there's land or building. They're going to be, the terms can change if there's something that they can secure it with. 7A by far is the most popular loan that any SBA program does. It has the most flexibility. Now let's discuss the SBA Express Loans. These are what we call the SBA Express Loans, are up to $350,000. They have a faster turnaround time. The SBA Express Loan is perfect for a business that only needs working capital. A lot of times businesses don't own the building they're in, and therefore it makes it much more difficult for a bank to secure their collateral. So that's why the Express Loan program is the most popular. Up to $350,000, and the Small Business Administration will guarantee the loan for the bank. And that way, this allows a business or an individual to get working capital, which allows them to continue the operations or expand their business. The 504 SBA loan. And where they come up with these terms for these loans, I'll be honest to you, I don't even have a clue. I think they just pull random numbers and they combine them together and say, hey, we're the 504 loan program. The SBA 504 is perfect if you're looking at borrowing money to purchase building, real estate. It's the perfect mix for a loan. A lot of times when people think of having a mortgage on a business, they think, oh, it's like a 15 or 30-year mortgage like people get when they buy a house. In the commercial world, it's not that way. Most of the time in commercial lending, you're going to have what's called a balloon payment. So you're going to have a 5-year note on a 15-year amortization. So they divide your payments by 15 so that it stretches it out. And then it's going to balloon at the end of 5 years, and you would have to then refinance the note. If you do an SBA 504, it's kind of like marrying the two together. The bank would have one loan, the SBA will then bridge it with another loan, and you can do a 20-year note on a commercial property at a blended interest rate between 4 and 5% currently. The 504 is probably the best loan. It's probably my most favorite one to do because there's assets that are tied to it. And if you have everything packaged correctly, it's perfect. You can speed through it in about 90 days. With the 504, you get the blended rate, plus as a borrower, you only have to put in 10% if you're an established business. So the bank would do 50, the SBA is going to do 40, and then you as the borrower are going to put in your 10%. Once again, the SBA 504 loan program has a maximum amount of $5 million. Now, let's say that business A needs to do a 504 loan for project Y that is $1.2 million. You can do that. And then they want to purchase another piece of real estate or property that they can do another 504. The good news is with the SBA 504 program, you can do as many 504 loan programs up to $5 million per person. With any lending, there's always going to be pros and cons. Sometimes there's some things that people don't realize are involved in some of the loans. Some of the cons of doing an SBA loan are time. If you have to move fast, if you don't have a lot of time to get the deal financed, an SBA or a government-backed guaranteed loan is probably not going to be your best interest. Number two, loan approval process, it takes a while. It goes through multiple layers to get the approval. Often smaller amounts can be a lot more difficult to get. So there's really a threshold when looking at a 504 and 7A loan to where you need to be at a minimum of at least $300,000. There's going to be fees that are going to be required of the borrower to pay for the SBA loan. I'm not going to lie. Some of these programs are confusing. Let's be honest. I've been doing this for a while. I still get confused. So make sure when you look to do an SBA loan, you got some time. You work with a bank that's very comfortable doing those SBA loans. If you're watching this and maybe you say, maybe I need to do an SBA loan, reach out to us. We've got a couple banks and this is all they do is SBA loans. They're really vast in doing them. And so for us, we partner with those people who are comfortable, they do this, because some of that stuff can be extremely daunting when looking for an SBA loan. It's a lot of red tape you got to dig through. They're probably going to want to know your second child's middle name. Let's be honest, it's the government. They're going to know everything about you. If you owned a business 20 years ago, they're probably going to ask you what happened to it. I'm just being honest. It's the government. Personal guarantees are often required for an SBA loan. They have been known to put second liens on your house if you have collateral available. They want to recoup anything possible if something happens to this loan. And something that a lot of people don't realize when doing an SBA loan, even if you file bankruptcy, it's still on there. So you can't get out of it if you had to file bankruptcy and you had an SBA loan. So let's give a quick recap as we finish up talking about the SBA and the daunting task of getting their loans. So in a small, quick version, the SBA 7A loan program, this is great for working capital. If you need something that doesn't have collateral or it's going to be hard to secure for a bank, the SBA 7A loan program is perfect. Remember, it's going to have a lengthy approval time. We're talking about multiple layers to get the approval. They're going to need lots of documentation. As I said earlier, they're probably going to know your kids' middle names and maybe your dogs too. Don't be surprised if they ask. Certain businesses, including real estate, investing, lending, gambling, what they call sin businesses, they aren't going to be eligible. You're going to need a pretty high credit score. Usually it's 680 or above to get those. Going to depend on some other factors. And you're probably going to have to put in at least 10% up to 15% of your own cash into this. Let's jump back over to what we call the Community Advantage or the SBA Express Loan. Actually, they have two, but we usually put it under the Express Loan because it has a higher loan amount. Express loans are anywhere between $5,000 to $350,000. They're a little quicker on the review process, but let's keep in mind, Still the SBA. They're going to take their time. Also, it's something that can be done as working capital. It can go in conjunction with a 504, which is the real estate program. You can do an express loan to get some working capital. Also, still a little bit longer on the approval process. Still going to require you to put some your own equity injection. So it's going to require you to put some of your own money into it. Still a good loan program. We do quite a few of those here in the Upper Cumberland. Number 3, the 504 loan program. This is the perfect one if you're going to buy real estate. As we talked earlier, this is going to give you what most people are familiar with like a mortgage, a longer term payout. It's for real estate. You can buy land with it. You can do buildings. 504 is the great program to help get your business going from renting to owning their own place. They're going to require you to put 10% down. The bank's going to do the first 50%. The SBA is going to do the next 40%, and you're going to put in 10% for your own down payment. That's a small recap of those loans. The one thing I can say is if you're wanting to do an SBA loan, let's work together. Let's find a bank that's very comfortable in doing these. Some banks, I'll be honest to you, when you mention the 3 letters of SBA, they like break out in hives. They get nervous when they do it. It's a lot of work on the bank's part. But for you, the business owner, it's probably one of the best loans you're ever going to do. They structure it well. They understand that the cash flow, they want to make sure that your business can survive and can succeed when you need to borrow money. And sometimes the banks get a little nervous. But we can do this. It's a process. It's not a very short process. So don't think, hey, you can get it done in 30 days. I've got some that have taken 12 to 18 months to do. But be patient. Know that you're going to have documentation for everything. As I said, they're going to want to know your dog's name. They're going to want to know your kid's middle name. They're going to know the business you started 20 years ago that obviously didn't work. But be prepared to answer all those questions. You're going to have great forecasting numbers. You're going to have something they can understand, they can grasp. It's someone who all they do is read numbers all day. So be prepared to answer a lot of those questions. And you're probably going to have to do it a couple of times. Just being honest, this is what we saw. So don't let it stress you out. It's just a loan. It's just your business. I mean, it's literally your third kid. But don't worry. That's why you partner with us at the Small Business Development Center, and we help walk you through this process. We see this day in and day out. We know what they're going to ask for. This is what we do best. We love helping businesses. It's what we're here for. It's what the SBA brought us in to do. So thanks for watching.